Well, hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rise and Receive. This is a reset point in your day where you get to stop whatever you're doing and take a moment to explore how to receive your fulfillment by unlearning struggle. So, we are in the middle of a 3-part series on receiving your purpose. And if this is something that you'd like to connect with, what is my purpose in life? What is my purpose in the world? What is my purpose given what's happening in current events or at this time in my immediate surroundings? Then you're really going to like today's Rise and Receive, because I'm going to specifically be focusing on 2 tips so that you can discover your purpose in whatever context in the fastest way possible. So what I've been doing with these series is I've been illuminating blind spots. And I define a blind spot as when your current point of view hides an essential insight. Because in my world at Success for the Soul, your consciousness creates your reality. And this is based in all kinds of wisdom, whether it's science like quantum physics and quantum mechanics, to spirituality, to metaphysics. You can find proof of this everywhere in many different fields. And so your consciousness does create your reality. And your point of view really illuminates what your consciousness is at any given time. And your consciousness is at the sum total of everything that's happening in your world and your inner world, And this can be things that you're aware of and things that you're very unaware of, which is why I love to illuminate blind spots, because the truth is that when you start to explore your consciousness, which is thoughts, beliefs, expectations, emotions, sensations, life experiences, conditioning, all sorts of inner world things, there's a lot of things that fly under the radar and we're not even aware of it. But when we illuminate the blind spot and you start to shift your perspective because you can see what you couldn't see before, amazing things come into your life very quickly in ways that you could never get to by trying to figure it out with your mind. So that's why I'm passionate about illuminating blind spots, because it's a very fast shift in what you can manifest in your life. And specifically what we do here is I illuminate receiving blind spots, because receiving, your capacity to receive your desires, your goals, your wishes, wants, and aspirations, receiving is its own skill set. And most people don't know how to receive. So receiving blind spot occurs when you're operating more as a human doing versus a human being. And so when you connect with the power of being, which is the easiest thing in the world because we're all human beings, all kinds of things come into our world. However, when we've been over relying on doing, which is very learned and very much a part of our culture, and we don't know how to receive, when we don't receive what we want, what do? We tend to work even harder, more doing, more figuring out. So the solution is often to stop all the doing. And then when you feel lost about, well, what do I do? Because that's what you'll ask, you learn how to be and tap into that skill set. And then you open the flow gates. So that's what we're doing here. We are opening the flow gates this week regarding how to receive your purpose if you're feeling stuck or blocked in this regard. Now, today's blind spot, actually, let me give you what the 2 tips are, which are 2 tips to open the flow gates to discovering your purpose with much greater ease. So this is a speed factor. And this is another thing that I find, that when people are feeling stuck or blocked, or like they're hitting their glass ceiling, receiving can be the thing that dissolves and allows you to surpass your inner glass ceiling. And so that is all about speed. How can I make this happen faster, as well as beyond, or surpassing beyond what you've, kind of how far you've been able to go. All right. So today's blind spot is something that I've talked about in other videos, and we're going to talk about it specifically to receiving. The blind spot is the faulty focus blind spot. Now, the name of the 2 tips that I'm going to give you, and I'll talk about how to actually make use of these 2 tips, is number 1, feel fulfilled first. And number 2, shift from intention to invitation. So these 2 tips will help you discover your purpose way faster. and it's all connected to this blind spot. So this faulty focus blind spot, what is this about? If you didn't hear me talk about it in earlier videos, one of the things I say is that the faulty focus blind spot is when you are focusing on the wrong thing. Okay, it's a flawed logic. And what most people do around many dreams, including discovering your life purpose, is we focus on the form, which means, what do I do? What am I doing? I talked about that in part 1. What does it look like? Okay, that's the form in the physical world. Now, what we need to focus on instead is the essence or the feeling. And this is why any goal that you've ever had, any wish, any desire that you've ever had is for one reason and one reason only. You are chasing a feeling. You think that if you manifest that goal, if you make that dream come true, then you're going to feel a certain way. So when it's purpose, what is the feeling you're after? Usually it's something like, I want to feel more power. I want to feel like what I'm doing matters. You want to feel like you matter. You might want to feel connection. You might want to feel meaning in your life in a way. There's usually a feeling of, I feel lost. I feel disconnected. Do I even matter in the world? Okay, so it's a feeling of mattering. It might be something else to you. You might want to live this life and know that you have impact and influence on the people around you. Maybe it's about feeling powerful to make a change in your orbit. Okay, so you're chasing a feeling. And the same thing happens with all goals, relationship goals. Why do you want a relationship? I want to feel loved. I want to feel connected. I want to feel passion. I want to experience intimacy. I don't want to feel lonely. So sometimes it's a do want feeling. Sometimes it's a don't want feeling. Same thing with money. How do you want to feel? Free, powerful, peaceful. I don't want to feel worried. I don't want to feel afraid. So do you see how every goal is always because you're chasing a feeling? One of the things I've long been saying about manifestation is this. Ultimate manifestation, which is when you ultimately experience that fulfillment that you're seeking, occurs when you focus on what you really want, not what you think you want. What you think you want is to know what your purpose is, right? You want to know what you're doing, what it looks like. What you really want is the feeling behind the knowing of it, okay? So, essence versus form. Now, this blind spot could be holding you back or hindering your capacity to know your purpose because you're focusing on the form. And that's going to get you stuck. Now, here's what happens when you focus on the form. And in the world of purpose, again, what does it look like? What am I doing? What am I supposed to do? Two things happen when you focus on the form of any dream. There's only two possible outcomes. Either you'll get the form, like let's say you think your purpose is related to a particular job, right? And you finally said, yeah, this is what I want to do. There's the doing, human doing, right? You might actually get the form, but you might not be fulfilled. Many times this happens where you get the doing or the form. You finally think, yeah, this is it. It might last for a little bit, but the fulfillment might pass, it might be fleeting, or it might not be there at all. And this happens a lot in the world of form. We get the guy or we get the girl. We think we're happy and fulfilled. And then maybe not. Maybe the honeymoon passes. Maybe they're not who they thought you were. Maybe being around them, you're feeling good for a while and then some other aspect of yourself arises and you're not fulfilled. This happens everywhere. So number one, you might get the form and then you're not fulfilled, at least not in any lasting way. Number two, if you're focused on the form, which is what you think you want, you might not get it at all because your consciousness creates your reality. And when you're focused on the form, but you're really after the feeling, you're putting out an energy that is kind of a mixed message to life itself. So it might not come in. Now, when you focus on the essence, which is how you open the flow gates, the form will come. So your greatest power to open the flow gates around discovering your purpose is to focus on the feeling that you think knowing your purpose is going to give you. So how do we do this? So now we're to tip number one. Feel fulfilled first. Now, this might feel like this kind of catch-22 because I'm like, well, Sonia, that's what I'm trying to get to, is that feeling of fulfillment by knowing my purpose. You always connect with the feeling first. So what's the easiest way to do that? Back to part 1 of this series. Start exploring when you're at your happiest, when you do feel fulfilled, when you're connected to your joy. Notice these times. Feel that first. Feel it fully. Don't worry about the form. Don't worry if it's in a job. Don't worry about what you're doing. Just feel fulfilled and then receive that fully. Receiving is about an experience. It's something that moves through you. It's something that flows through you. That's what receiving is. It's not getting, which is what the human doing thinks receiving is. The human being knows that receiving is an experience. And as you learn how to receive easily through the 3-step receiving method, you start to open up to the fulfillment, the feeling that flows through you more and more easily, more consistently. You don't get stuck as much. You're in the flow. So number 1, feel fulfilled first. Notice when you're at your happiest. Pay attention. Take a breath. Receive it fully. Ask life, how does it get even better than this? And keep experiencing. Here's what happens. When you feel fulfilled, then life rises up to meet you. This is the manifestation piece. And you get insights and awarenesses and opportunities. You just follow the leads that life gives you. And the form and the knowingness can then come into your awareness. But if you keep thinking that your awareness and your fulfillment is outside of you in a thing that you do, you're going to keep manifesting and creating. My fulfillment is outside of me in a thing that I do that I'm not doing now. Do you see? All of that creates the consciousness of separation. But when you feel fulfilled now, receive that fully. Watch what you receive into your life in terms of the insights, awarenesses, leads, jobs, opportunities. All kinds of things come into your life right now. Okay, so focus on the essence first. Feel fulfilled first. The second tip is shift from intention to invitation. So intention is great for tasks when you actually know in your mind what it is that you want to do or accomplish. Many times when I get up in the morning and I have my list of things that I need to get done, I will say to myself and out loud, okay, my intention is to X. And that's because it's a really finite thing. That's great when you're in doing mode. That's what the hunter does. My intention is to get that thing that I can see with my eyes and take action on. But invitation is what you connect with as a human being. It's the power of being when your mind doesn't know. I know that and your mind can't control. There's nothing you can control about it. So you focus on essence, right? So this is where willingness comes in. And so today I'm going to give you, once again, the willingness mantra that comes from today's inspired Receive Your Purpose card from the Receive Oracle deck. And here's what it is. If you want to know your purpose, whenever you're asking that question and you're in your mind thinking, stop, notice, and here's your mantra. I am willing to discover the joy, purpose, and power of being me. I am willing to discover the joy, purpose, and power of being me. It's being, it's willingness. You don't have to know anything. And you've now allowed your consciousness to take up the space of this willingness to receive the clarity of purpose just by being you, being in your joy, being in your happiness. Again, this will start to bring into your awareness, into your life, into your experience, the leads, the insights, whatever it is that you need in order to get clarity and know what your purpose is. So I hope this is helpful. And, I was thinking a little sidebar around this. One of the most common things that happens around what's my purpose is the need to know. We have almost this addiction compulsion, the need to know, because we over rely on the hunter model, on being human doings, which requires a lot of knowing of knowledge. Okay. But you don't need to know your purpose in order to live your purpose, because your purpose is your state of being, a constant present moment experience. So if you are kind of bound up and stuck around the flow of this awareness that you want because you need to know, I invite you to go to my YouTube channel and look at the card. Just look by title. Just go to receivevideos.com. That'll take you straight to my YouTube channel, and look up the card that's entitled Soothe Your Need to Know. That will continue to help you get unstuck and open the flow gates to receiving your purpose. So I hope this is helpful. If you would like to learn more about the simple, profoundly life-changing 3-step receive method, I wish I could just take what I know and just give you a little mind meld around it. I was on a call with one of my clients yesterday who's been practicing receiving for just a short amount of time. She said, Sonia, you should really have a disclaimer that says, just be prepared to have this rock your world. It's fast, it's simple, it's the most natural thing in the world, but most of us have learned unnecessary struggle. And that struggle only happens because we over-rely on the doing model of power. And the being model of power is right here. It's just unfamiliar. We have forgotten. So if you want to learn, check out the Receive course at receivecourse.com. Lots of information, case studies, lots of stuff that will illuminate your path. And if you haven't already pre-ordered your Receive cards, go to receivecarddeck.com. I'm going to have them in my hand to show you. If all goes well next week, it'll be my advanced set from the manufacturer, and they will be coming out in April. If you pre-order, you'll get a gift bundle from me that will just grease the skids of receiving quickly. I'll let you go check it out on that page. Have a great rest of your day. If you like this, please like, share. It helps me reach the people that I'm here to serve. And I will see you at the next video. Bye, everybody.